And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at a game called Incredibrawl. Now just for sake of disclosure, I did do a paid preview for this game when it was on Kickstarter, and now it is here for me to take a look at. Incredibrawl is yet another game that uses the theme of everybody fighting everybody for no reason at all. So you have ninjas fighting pirates, fighting zombies, fighting robots, fighting robot sharks, fighting dragons, etc., etc. It uses a lot of rock, paper, scissors mechanisms. Let's take a look at it. In Incredibrawl, you're trying to get the most glory points. These points are represented here. Everybody's going to start with one of those points. Now, when you play a four-player game, it's basically like a giant game of combat, war, think maybe rock, paper, scissors. And so in a four-player game, green and purple would go against each other, and then blue and orange would go against each other, and then the winners would go against each other. And so what you'll do each turn, you're going to have a handful of cards, and you're going to select the card from your hand, and you're going to compare it to your opponent's card to see who won. Let's take a look at this. Alright, here we go. I've shuffled these decks randomly. Let's see who wins between orange and purple. So here we have a dragon, and here we have a Viking. Now, obviously you think a dragon might beat a Viking unless the Viking makes the dragon his pet. But anyhow, here you can see that the blue, the energy beats the physical. See the blue on top of the purple? So the dragon automatically wins. Both these guys have a W on them, which means they have a special ability that happens if they win. So, for example, it says for each of the following effects, select a player. Lose one glory, discard a card, do not draw a card during the draw step. So I can pick each other player and make one negative thing happen to them. So orange is winning. In the next battle, we have a kitten versus a robot. The kitten beats the robot. So the kitten has a lose condition, which does not come into effect. And the robot has a win condition, which does not come into effect. If the kitten had lost, the player who won would have to give you a glory point, as well as randomly discard a card from your hand, because you jerk, you beat the kitten. Then we have an alien versus a foo dog. Now here you'll notice that both of them have the same type. They both have energy. In this case, the higher number wins. So 11 beats 5. But wait, the alien has a P on it. That means when you play the card, this happens. So choose an opponent. You can swap their current character card with the topmost character card from your discard pile. So let's look at the top card discard pile. No, it wouldn't change anything. So whatever. So the foo dog wins, and then he can shuffle his discard pile back to his deck. If you do, you draw an extra card. If you don't, you get a bonus glory. Then we have the Kraken against the Leprechaun. They both have played abilities, and you can see here that the Kraken is going to beat the Leprechaun. So that's basically it. I'm not going to keep playing through more battles, but I am going to show you some of the cards that are in the deck. Cowboy, Ninja, Werewolf, Spaceman, Superhero, Mad Scientist, Princess, Vampire, and there's also a pile of advanced cards that you can put into the deck. You've already seen some of those cards show up when I was turning them over. These are cards you can play from your hand, like this Atomic Teleporter. So this card here basically says you must play this card immediately after characters are revealed. You can select any location, reshuffle, and place the selected card on top. Here I can reduce a character's power level to 1. Here I can add 10 to my power level, etc. So you can just play these cards from your hand. And you say, what's this location thing? Well, you can normally play at the grassy knoll, which is just basically a normal location. Or you can play with these locations, like this mysterious jungle, which gives animal characters a bonus glory if they win here. Or the majestic castle, which gives fantasy characters glory if they win there. Or the teeming metropolis. If you lose there, you discard a card. And water characters here get a bonus glory. Most of them have something to do with one of the types of characters. Or any character that wins here flips a coin. On heads, you gain a bonus glory. Tails, you draw an extra card. And there actually is a heads and tails coin that's included with the game. And so if you want to play the gamer's game, you play with these locations and the advanced cards in the deck. Otherwise, you can just play with the characters versus each other. That's called the family game. Whoever gets 10 glory first wins, unless someone goes through their entire deck. At that point, whoever has the most glory is the winner of the game. Okay, obviously, the first thing is the artwork is amazing. The card quality is good. It just looks really good. I mean, just the cover of the box is one that I really enjoy to see all that. I like this colorful, it says in the back here, prepare to guide a colorful cast of characters. It's very enjoyable, and I think a lot of people are going to like the game for its theme alone. That being said, this game is not for me at all, and I'll tell you why. Because it's rock, paper, scissors, which can be done kind of interestingly, but the fact is I have no idea what my opponent has in his hand. So I play a card and hope that somehow it counters what he has, or she has, but it really has no, I don't know. And then when the other two people fight, I mean, it just becomes this, it's super chaotic. Adding in those cards that can change things adds a slight bit more control than takes it away by the fact that your opponents can do the same thing. So it adds a bit of a take that element to this game. And even the different locations. Adding them in just adds more stuff, but doesn't actually add more control. So maybe on the board there it says animal person gets more glory, so that will tempt someone to play an animal. So I'm like, ooh, I will stop them. But I don't know what animal they have, so it really doesn't matter. It's funny, and I think some people will get a kick out of this, but I even played it with kids who I thought they would like it, and they kind of liked it. They had a good time. I mean, they laughed about what beat what, and they liked the whole take that. But at the end of the day, they said, well, it was just really random, and that's really how I felt about it. This should be called Incredibrawl, because that's what it is. It's not much of a game. You essentially could play a card randomly and do just as well as someone who is actually trying to win. So, is the fun there? Well, the fun will be the enjoyment of watching the different abilities affect each other and laugh about the fact that the kitten beat a dinosaur or something like that. But in the long run, there's just no meat in this game. So it is not one that I would recommend unless you have maybe some kids who don't mind the incredible randomness of it and just want to play and have fun looking at the silly pictures. Man, I hope this artist, though, does some other games, because the art in here is phenomenal. But that's pretty much the only phenomenal thing in the box.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!